What up, everybody? It's your boy, James Woody. It is time for the Week 14 Wudi-3. Coming off a dub, so I feel like the morale, everything's high right now. And I'm feeling good about that. And guess what? This weekend, we are facing my least favorite team in the NFL. We talking about the Miami Dolphins. All right, I'm trying to beat those stanky fish. All right, this is the AFC East rivalry. Obviously, this has happened for decades now. Anytime we're facing an AFC East rivalry, I'm trying to get that dub. This is no exception. And, given the records and the rosters and everything like that, the battle of the AFC least right here. We got the third and the fourth seeded teams, fourth and third place teams in the division. But like I said before, coming off a dub, the fan base, I know a lot of you want to tank. I guess I talk about this at the beginning of every episode now, is, I'm not trying to tank. I think wins matter, and I think you see it. You see after last week's win how everybody was feeling, how people are, just loving the vibe, loving the energy, loving the culture. So I think that's what, we need to keep building on to keep moving in the right direction. Shout out to Austin McNamara. He is the AFC Special Teams Player of the Month. So that unit is getting recognized. Whole lot of love for that unit. Apparently might become the best of all time. I was, saying best in the league, hoping that nobody would come at me for saying that. But the stats have shown that they are currently third best all time, could be the best of all time by the time it's all said and done. So, with that being said, let's look at this week's Wudi-3, see what's going on and what's worth looking at this Sunday when the Jets play the Dolphins. Let's start with Route 166. Yeah, Route 66, try to get my play on words right there. Breece Hall, my guy, somebody who I've had to defend tooth and nail time and time again. You leave this man out of trade rumors, man. You guys have just been throwing him in there for what seems like years now. You've been disrespecting this man, and one of the biggest forms of disrespect that I consistently see, I call it out and I still get pushback, is, well, he's never had a 1,000-yard season as a rushing. And, it doesn't matter that he was third in the entire NFL in scrimmage yards a couple of years back. Doesn't matter that he was in the midst of a damn near 200-yard game where he could have just accumulated 6 more yards to be a 1,000-yard rusher. But the coaching staff said, oh, you already got it. You don't have to worry about it. None of those things matter. It's, well, if I Google his stats, then it says that there's no 1,000-yard season. So he's 166 yards away from shutting up all those people that keep saying that to me. And, hey, can it be done in one game? There have been 9 instances this year where somebody has rushed for 166 yards in one game. I will say it's not 9 unique people. Rico Dowdle was on a tear for a little bit. There's a couple of people that have done it multiple times. But so far there have been 9 times. Breece Hall, if he were able to accomplish that this game, that would be the 10th. The first game, he had 81 yards, which pretty good, about halfway there. I will say that Miami, although for the year they allow the 4th most rushing yards per game this season, they really, really tightened up recently. They actually haven't even allowed a 100-yard rusher since week 6. The Chargers, Kamani Vidal, was the last person to have 100 yards. Since then, they've been bottling guys up. Recently, they've been bottling teams up. So we'll see there, because here's the thing. For the first time in, all season, Tyrod Taylor will be starting against a defense that's not in the top 10 for blitzing. I think there will be a little bit less pressure literally on Tyrod to make these quick reads and throws. So I think we're actually going to see, the purest vision of what Tanner Angstrom is trying to do for this offense. So I think there will be some room to run. I think when it is time to establish the pass, Tyrod will be able to do so without pressure and get it to A.D. Mitchell, get it to John Mechie. I can't lie, I'm starting A.D. Mitchell in fantasy, so if I had a preference, this week, trying to get into the fantasy playoffs, what I'm talking about. So Tyrod will have opportunities to get the ball out. And once Tyrod makes a few completions, now we are, opening up the run game for Breece, how that circle of life goes. So I think, is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? Probably not. But I remember not too long ago, I talked about the Patriots and how they haven't allowed a rusher to, have 50 yards, blah, blah. And then, of course, Breece Hall beats that threshold. He became the first to do it. So I don't want to say that Breece can't do anything. All right. He can do it. If he wanted to silence those people all the way in week 14, he can do it with a 166-yard gain on the ground against the Miami Dolphins, who allow the fourth most rushing yards per game this season, even though they've tightened up. Even now, right, their last 3 games, they're on a 3-game winning streak. If you didn't know, they're on a 3-game winning streak. During that winning streak, they're still allowing 113 rushing yards per game. So that's still, it's doable. It's doable to see a 100-yard game from Breece. Let's see what happens, especially, again, what I said with the pressure or lack thereof. The passing game should help open up the run game as well. Number 2. This is something that we talk about every year. I want to say at least once, per the 2 Wudi-3s. One of the things is about Tua turned the ball over. And this is especially important because the Jets have been so bad at getting turnovers. At least during the other games that Tua has had against the Jets, we do force turnovers. It's just that we commit more or, just don't score enough. But we have been consistently, getting picks, getting fumbles from Tua. This time around, this Jets team has only has only captured 1 fumble and has no interceptions all season. It is absolutely embarrassing. It's disgusting. Everyone should be ashamed about that fact. And, we're going to see, can they change that? And they're going to have opportunities against somebody who currently leads the league in interceptions thrown. He has more interceptions than games played. I mean, come on now. He has 5 fumbles. I know he hasn't lost one, right? His team has recovered all 5, but still, that's opportunity that can be had. Ball bounces your way. So I want to see a turnover, preferably an interception. If I had to choose like one or the other, an interception. But, definitely a turnover force against this very turnover-prone team. We did receive word today that our guy, the acquisition Jarvis Brownlee, would be on injured reserve, most likely ending his season. Hate to see it. Loved what we've seen from him this year. Excited to see him next year. But he was one of the, culprits dropping balls. We'll see if the next guy up can come in and, secure a football. Right now, between Brownlee and Stevens, I'm not sure how much faith I have in, one of the corners catching an interception. You might have to wait for like Malachi Moore or my guy Quincy Williams to kind of see what he can do. But come on now, you facing this turnover-prone team. I need to see something. It's been 14 weeks or 13 weeks. This is the 14th week. Show me something on that side of the ball. Number 3, we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier. Miami, they low-key rolling right now. They were 2-7. They've won 3 straight. The defense hasn't allowed more than 17 points in a game. Devon Achane, my God, this boy looking like Barry Sanders and Jahmyr Gibbs at the same time. Like, he has rushed for no less than 120 yards in each of those 3 wins. Against the Bills specifically, he had 200 all-purpose yards. I mean, this team is on fire. They are absolutely balling. Contrast that to what they're heading into. First of all, they're heading into a cold game. Okay, so all that fire about to get cooled down by the cold New Jersey air, which I love to see that. But also Aaron Glenn. I mean, I want to see a team that is competitive in their division. That is, in my opinion, one of the easiest ways to make the playoffs and be considered a good NFL team is to beat up your own division. You look at your dynasties in the NFL the last few years. I mean, the Chiefs, it was a long time before Patrick Mahomes even got his first AFC West loss. He was just cooking those guys up. We all know about the Patriots, the 11 years of, or not 11 years, 10 years of suffering that we had against the Patriots as they dominated the division. It's so easy to get, you can get those 6 wins or 4 wins. And obviously those wins mean losses for your divisional rivals. So those division games to me are the 6 most important games every single year. And this last regime, I'm not trying to, just bash them for the sake of bashing them, but they were absolutely horrible year in and year out against the division. I look at Aaron Glenn right now. He hasn't won a division game. I wanted to compare that to his peers. If you guys follow me on Instagram, at the James Wudi, which you see right here, then you would actually see, or you've actually seen this. But for those of you who don't follow, let me put this up real quick. This is all the first year head coaches, right? How they did against the AFC East in year 1 for the 21st century. And I mean, you see that most recent coach to do it was Robert Saleh, who got the straight up goose egg. As you can, there's actually a trend. I didn't even realize, right? Like, we started off, right? Herm Edwards, Mangini, right? 4 a piece, right? Rex, he was, getting into it. And then from Rex, it's just been steadily declining. As it stands right now, the highest AG could get is 3, which can't lie, doesn't seem like 3 is in the cards, but a goose egg would really upset me. I'm hoping that this week we can get a dub, and then hopefully some other, one of the other, Patriots or Bills, we get upset. Seems like the Bills have kind of been getting upset all year, so that might be the choice. But I mean, if that first game is any indication, then we don't have a chance. So I don't know how we can get that second win, but this first win, I really am hoping comes this Sunday. Right? I hope it comes this Sunday. And, all those players, right? There are plenty of players like Brees playing in this game who's suffered through these AFC East battles and, Tua never losing to the Jets and all this type of stuff. Those players care. Aaron Glenn is a former Jet player. He cares. Like, he, in his life, for the last 30 years, has disliked those other AFC East teams. He didn't even interview with the Patriots because his blood boils green with the Jets. So I hope they pick themselves up for this game. I do not want to see a team that goes winless against their division this year. And this, in my opinion, is their best bet, even though the Dolphins are surging and on fire and H.N. running chicken with his head cut off, all that type of stuff. This is still their best chance. They played a good game the first game, but the fumbles were crazy. Isaiah Williams, who of course has played so much better since then. What's his name? Braylon Allen, our guy. I thought he'd be coming back soon. I haven't heard much on him. But that was another fumble, just self-inflicted wounds. recently there hasn't been a lot of self-inflicted wounds, not a lot of giveaways, things like that. We've played solid football. So if they continue to play solid football against this Dolphins team, come on now, let's get this dub. That's how I see it. So to recap, we're talking about Route 166, Brees being 166 yards away from 1,000, finally shutting up all the naysayers. I would love to see him get it this game, just all in one game, and just say, hey, come on now. Now the rest is just icing on the cake. But the Dolphins haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher since week 6. Tua turned the ball over. That's what he's been doing. I mean, when that's your nickname, you definitely are turning the ball over at such a high, like a prolific rate for that to become your nickname. Something is wrong, and something's been wrong with Tua and his play in Miami for quite some time. So please, come on now. Let's get a turnover. A team that only has one turnover, like the worst turnover rates and percentages in the history of the NFL is what this team currently has. Hopefully they can, fix it around, or try to turn it around a little bit. Please, come on, just a little this weekend, and then let's make this a rivalry. For so many years, I don't think these other teams consider the Jets a rivalry. Tua is undefeated against the Jets. Does he think that's a rivalry? The Patriots had their streak for years. Josh Allen, I want it to be an actual rivalry where they are afraid to play the Jets. They know it's going to be a tough game, and it can go either way, or most likely the Jets are going to win. That's where I'm trying to get at. It's been a long time since we've been there. But, getting this win would go a long way to letting the league know and letting the division know, like, hey, man, we on the come up. So that's where I'm at right now. Let's get this dub. Let's go Jets, of course. And, that was the Wudi-3. Make sure to follow. Please like, subscribe. Free support for the channel. Try and do what I can to, provide you the latest and greatest and some insight that you're not seeing anywhere else. I don't know anyone who had this chart. I pretty much just made this myself today and posted it on Instagram. So come on now, we have the exclusive information, the exclusive takes, the exclusive stats right here. Right, Take Flight Talk, and Jets, Jets.